Hi, I'm Marlow Felton. And, honey.
I got my hair cut.
He did. He got his hair cut.
I got them all cut.
He got them all cut. It's my husband, Chris Felton.
It's going to be one of those days.
Yeah, apparently.
Could be.
Yeah. So, anyway, today we're here to share with you how to make money conversations easier. Because we know that money conversations can be really uncomfortable. For us, they have been, and they can be uncomfortable for other people as well. We know we're not alone. And Chris actually didn't you find out the hard way how painful a money conversation can be when you avoid them for a long period of time. They just become volcanoes erupt. So many years ago, we had a very uncomfortable money conversation because we had avoided a money conversation for so long, and then it erupted, or I erupted one night when Chris came to me with an unexpected expense, and I completely had it. So Chris learned that, and I learned too, of course, that it's better to have the money conversations than to avoid them, because avoiding them creates a lot of stress and anxiety that you don't need and can create an undesirable financial situation, correct?
Yeah. Well, and it's just a success principle in life in general is if you seek comfort, it's going to result in an entirely uncomfortable life. Right. So people are, they seek comfort and casual with their conversations, casual with what they eat, what they do, their businesses, and then what happens is it doesn't get them the ultimate result, and then you're in an uncomfortable situation. And so having uncomfortable conversations or doing uncomfortable things over an extended period of time will lead to a more comfortable life. So it's kind of a crazy paradox, but is there one of those conversations that you need to have now? And that's just in general, anywhere in your life. Where is there an uncomfortable conversation that you're avoiding having, and that's creating a lot of discomfort? Right. So they're important, and you have a little formula here.
I do, and I just want to say that the best relationships are built one conversation at a time, because if you never talked to your significant other about anything, you really wouldn't have much of a relationship. And those uncomfortable conversations can really just help to strengthen the bond in the relationship. Most people just don't have money conversations because it seems easier in the moment to just avoid them because they're uncomfortable. So we've learned from our mistakes. We're sharing them with you so that you can have easier money conversations so you can have a better relationship and a better financial future as a result. So there's a few things that I wanted, some of our top secrets of having easier money conversations that I'm going to share with you, and how we've helped each other to have easier and better money conversations. And the first one is to start with your ideal life in mind. So that's why it's always important to be clear on your vision of where you want to go as a couple. Hopefully it's as a couple, together as a couple. And what your ideal life looks like together, and always start there.
I usually just ask her what she wants, and that's pretty much. I know what house she wants right now.
Yeah, he does. Laser locked. It's
so
within sight.
Give us a little bit of time, and
just give us some time. It's gonna be mine. It's
probably gonna be hers.
I've announced it publicly. I won't tell you the address.
It's not far from us.
It's not far, honey. Don't say.
It's already moving.
It's already moving.
The foundation's coming down yonder.
Okay, so we spend a lot of time dreaming and thinking about where we want to be, and so that's why Chris and I are on the same page with that. And we're laser locked and focused on what it is that we want together as a couple. So when you go into a money conversation with that in mind, you can always go back to that. And so that's, instead of saying, hey, Chris, you shouldn't spend money on that, and what are you doing? And, that's not going to get you anywhere.
Oh.
So, instead starting the conversation with, okay, hey, here's where we're at. We agreed as a couple that this is what we want to do together, whatever that might be for you. So with that in mind, this is how I feel. I feel when, we spend money on this or that, it just takes away from that and it makes me feel uncomfortable. And, I know that we've talked about this. So having a conversation, focus more on that. And really, there is nothing more powerful than two people that are focused on the same goal and dream. It becomes exponential. And if you're on the same team working towards the same goal, it's a lot harder to work against each other when you feel like you're on the same team together working towards a goal. So that really should be the focus. So really super important tip. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, because we've had some uncomfortable conversations even recently that, I feel like I've done a good job of prepping you and, kind of saying, hey, here's the deal. And, without it becoming an argument. It could have easily become an argument, or it could have turned into a huge mess if we didn't have the conversation for, another 5 to 10 years. It could have been a disaster, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, I think we talk about it all the time. We talk about it here. We talk about it in our forum. I mean, I was in front of a group of, 70 entrepreneurs this morning and going, hey, what do you want? Right?
Yeah.
They're listening to, two pretty successful guys, two pretty successful entrepreneurs, and they're always looking for, the tips and strategies and all that. But if you got the tips and the strategies and, you're running 100 miles in the wrong direction, it just doesn't matter. So, and it's probably because they hear me say it all the time, and you guys might get sick of us saying it all the time, but we need reminders. And we're halfway through the year right now, and so I'm going to spend some time this afternoon going, hey, what did we say at the beginning of the year that we wanted? I mean, I don't think we'll talk about that this afternoon, you and I, and
right.
And just, where are we? And it's, halfway through the year, and
right.
Are we still committed to it? Is it still important? What are the compelling emotional reasons? And asking great questions like, what would that be like? The home that she wants, and once again, it doesn't matter what you guys want, but we're talking about a home. It could be you wanting to be debt free. It doesn't really matter what size and magnitude of your, we were renting, a house and barely getting by, and that next home was the dream home, and I love that home, but that sitting back and what will it be like when we're in there, and what's that going to feel like when you make that income, or what's that going to feel like if it's if you're saving your first $5,000 or whatever. You want to ask those good questions to think about, man. Hey, what do I really want? And actually sitting down and spending time doing the last thing that people will do, which is actually think. And so today and tomorrow, and I got to spend time thinking, and there's a million things I could probably do other than that. And so that whole ideal life, and so whatever it is, so that's the home that you want and I want, and what's that what's that going to look like,
right.
Living in there, and how that's going to feel. And anyway, so that whole topic of clarity, you can't just go, as you're listening to this, go, oh, okay, I'll get clear, and I'll get to that, and then you get real busy. You have to sit down, and thinking is the hardest stinking work that you'll ever do, but you got to do it.
Right, yeah, so if you're just joining us, I'm Marlow Felton, and this is my sidekick, Chris Felton, otherwise known as my husband.
I got a haircut so that my head will, in the wind when you're driving the motorcycle, I'm on the sidekick.
He got a haircut just for our Couples Money fans.
I'll be wearing the goggles,
I know.
and you're cruising down the road in the motorcycle, and I'm in the sidekick.
Right. So we're talking today about how to make money conversations easier. So we're talking about getting clear on your vision, your goal, where it is that you're going together, and always go back to that. Start with that. It makes the conversation go much easier. So that's the first tip we're sharing with you today. The second one is to mentally prepare yourself.
For Marlow.
So yeah. Well, and there's a lot that goes into mentally preparing yourself. For me, and this is what has worked very well for me to have conversations with Chris. I don't come to him with, hey, here's my challenge, here's the problem or whatever. I come with a solution, and I have already imagined the outcome of our meeting and what it's going to feel like and how we're going to arrive at this solution together. And make sure that I'm open to any suggestions that he has, because even though I'm coming with a solution, it's not my way or the highway.
Sort of.
So, maybe it is just a little bit, but I come up with some pretty good solutions, and and it's always keeping us together, us in mind together, and that we have to compromise. At the end of the day, we both realize that there's going to have to be compromises along the way. So I take a look at the situation and think to myself, okay, what am I willing to give up? What, I'm gonna meet Chris halfway on this, or whatever the situation may be. So mentally prepare yourself, come with a solution, and already have an idea of how the conversation is going to positively turn out. I think that's really important, right?
Yeah, no, I think the pre-paving this just works for everything. I don't care whether it's a conversation or if you're an entrepreneur or whatever. It's that kind of like moment of discomfort, moment of decision. You're either going to seek comfort or you're going to overcome your discomfort and become bold. And bold doesn't mean be a jackass. It means that it means being bold.
Don't be a donkey.
Don't be a donkey. Facebook doesn't like that.
Yeah,
okay. Sorry, donkey.
We meant donkey.
Donkey. Don't be a donkey. Anyway. But no, so the decision is moment of discomfort, moment of decision, and if you seek comfort and you bail on the conversation, or you don't do it, or you kick the can down the road, then you seek back into that comfort zone, which results in uncomfortable life, lack of results. But if you be bold, and bold is basically with everyone's best interest in mind. Being bold's not like listen to what I say and you do what I say. It's being bold is busting out of your comfort zone to have a conversation that's going to move everybody forward. So if you can take 3 to 5 minutes and actually image the conversation, it's super powerful technique. Any difficult situation I've had to deal with, I spend the 3 to 5 minutes pre-paving it and even anticipating the discomfort. And because of that, my brain's wired. It's shocked, right? And it doesn't respond, because when emotion goes up, intelligence goes down, and then you're operating from fight or flight, and that's usually fear, and you're screwed. So that's powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's number 2.
So that's number 2 is to visualize, spend some time thinking about how the conversation is going to unfold. Mentally prepare yourself, and I always like to come with a really great solution while still being open to Chris's ideas as well. So the third tip is, and this one's really important, because haven't we all been there? You're tired, you're hungry, you're crabby, and you unleash into a bad conversation that just gets worse, right? Because you're tired and you're crabby and it's just not a good time. We've had those conversations. Chris and I have definitely had those conversations.
Start with 4 shots of whiskey,
my gosh,
and then start talking. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, he's totally kidding.
I don't like whiskey.
So while there is never really a perfect time, so my word of caution to you on this one is don't keep procrastinating, saying, oh, well, I'm waiting for a better time. But timing is kind of important. Please be sure that you're not tired, you're not hungry, you haven't been drinking. All those kinds of things can lead to a disastrous money conversation. Make sure it's a time when you are both relatively relaxed to have those conversations. So that's a big part of why Chris and I have our weekly meeting on Saturday afternoon, because we know that we're going to be less distracted. We're not going to be drinking on a Saturday afternoon. And so we know that we can have a clear-headed, logical, adult conversation around our finances and check in with each other at that time. Now, if something happened right before a meeting and, one of us got torqued, we might want to revisit that or just have a different kind of conversation. But we always have that check-in, when we have our meetings. So did you want to recap, honey?
Be clear.
Be clear. Your vision together, of your ideal life together, and always go back to that. Lead with that in your money conversations. And do you remember number 2?
Mentally prepare yourself.
He didn't know I was doing this to him today. Mentally prepare yourself. So meaning come with a solution in mind and visualize the conversation turning out in a positive way and things being much better after the conversation. And then the third one,
do it when you're totally hammered.
Get hammered. And then say, don't spend any more money.
Get hammered and go, and you knew what? Yeah. And you knew what? Anyway, Saturday Night Live.
For the people that didn't hang on and watch this.
Saturday Night Live, drunk chick, drunk girl, right?
Oh my gosh.
And you knew what?
And you know
and
what?
You know what? Anyway. No.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Make sure you're sober, relaxed, undistracted as possible, and you're not tired or hungry. Have a little snacky before your meeting. Well, I'm crabby when I haven't eaten.
Really?
Yeah, so make sure you have a little snacky.
You know the Snickers commercials?
Yeah, kind of like the Snickers commercial. Yeah. Uh-huh. I turned into Roseanne Barr.
Oh,
no,
I'm not supposed to talk about her.
I know.
Anyway.
Oopsie. Yeah, no, I don't. She did one of those commercials. That's why I said that. That's the only reason I said that.
I know.
Anyway, we're moving on. So we hope you gained some insight from our some of our best secrets of how to have more comfortable money conversations. And remember, please don't avoid money conversations. They're incredibly powerful, and they're going to be much more uncomfortable down the road. So thanks for joining us. And then also, I included a link. So this holiday week, I'm running a special on Chris's signature talk. It's an audio and a video of his signature talk, Making the Shift. It's life-changing. He's gotten a ton of great feedback from this talk. Oh, he doesn't know that I did this. So it's only $9.95, which is
so this is how you have an uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're getting ready to have an uncomfortable money conversation.
Let's tell 3 billion people on Facebook.
Yeah, that I discounted it by. I mean, it's half.
It's awesome.
And even at the full price, it's a steal. But so for $9.95, it's. I mean, people have come up to Chris after this talk and have said, that completely changed my life. I've never heard a talk like that. So click the link for more information. And this week only, in celebration of Independence Day, because we like to call it Financial Independence Day, and you can get Chris's signature talk for only $9.95. So check it out. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.